Have you ever talked to someone you really like and had absolutely no idea if she feels the same way? Your palms are sweating. Your brain is running 1,000 calculations per second, and every small thing she does either feels like a green light or a total dead end. If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. But here's what nobody tells you. Most guys are looking for the wrong signals entirely. They're waiting for some dramatic movie moment where she grabs their hand and confesses everything. That's not how this works. The real signals are subtle, they're layered. And once I show you how to read them, you'll never second guess yourself the same way again. I'm going to walk you through exactly what to look for, why it happens, and how to test whether your read is accurate. Because guessing wrong in either direction costs you. Let me start with something I discovered completely by accident. I used to think interest was obvious. Either she likes you or she doesn't. But then I started actually paying attention, and I realized I'd been missing signals the entire time. Not because I wasn't smart enough, because I didn't know what to look for. Here's the thing. When someone is attracted to you, her brain starts doing things she isn't even fully aware of. Her body moves toward you without her deciding to move. Her voice changes slightly when she's talking to you versus talking to someone else. She finds reasons to keep the interaction going, even when there's a natural stopping point. These aren't tricks she's running on you. They're involuntary. And that's exactly why they're so reliable. The first signal is physical proximity. Watch where she positions herself when there's no reason for her to be close. You're both at a party. There's plenty of space. But she keeps ending up within arm's reach. That's not an accident. I tested this at a social event once. I moved to a different part of the room 3 different times over an hour. By the third time, she had followed without either of us saying anything about it. She wasn't even aware she'd done it. That's the signal. It's not that she's glued to your side. It's that the gap between you keeps mysteriously shrinking. If you're sitting somewhere and she pulls her chair slightly closer or leans in when she's talking to you, even though you can already hear her perfectly, that's your answer. The second signal is how she handles interruptions. This one surprises most people. Here's a scenario. You're mid-conversation and someone else walks over and starts talking to her. Watch what happens next. Does she fully turn toward the new person and kind of forget you exist? Or does she keep one foot pointed in your direction, glance back at you, maybe physically pull you into the conversation? I noticed this with a friend of mine years ago. Every time someone interrupted us, she'd wait for a pause and then literally say, "Anyway," like I was telling him. She was keeping the thread alive on purpose. She wanted to stay in the conversation with me specifically. That's not just being polite, that's prioritization. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Her eye contact tells you something different than most people think. It's not just about how long she holds it, it's about what she does right after. When someone looks at someone they like, they tend to look away and then look back quickly. It's almost involuntary, like a rubber band snapping back. If she holds eye contact for a second, glances away, and then looks back at you within 3 or 4 seconds, that's the pattern you're watching for. Compare that to neutral eye contact, which she'd give a stranger or a coworker. That kind stays level and then just moves on naturally. The look away then back pattern is different. It has a pull to it. Here's another one I almost missed entirely. The way she texts you versus how she texts other people. Now, I know you can't always see that directly, but you can notice things. Does she respond quickly when it's you? Does she send longer messages than the conversation technically requires? I was talking to someone once and she kept adding these little extra lines at the end of her messages. Oh, also, I forgot to mention this. Random, but this reminded me of what you said. Those aren't necessary for communication. They're extensions. She's not wrapping the conversation up. She's stretching it out because she doesn't want it to end. That's the tell. There's also a vocal signal that's easy to miss if you're not paying attention. When she's genuinely interested in you, her voice tends to get slightly softer and more deliberate when she's talking directly to you. Not quiet, like she's nervous, but focused. Like she's making sure you hear her specifically. She might also laugh more than the joke technically deserves. Not fake laughter, but that low-key kind where something you said was maybe a 6 out of 10 funny, and she gave it an 8. Your jokes didn't suddenly get better. She's just more charmed by you than she's letting on openly. That's a huge signal, and most guys completely overlook it, because they assume they're just being hilarious. The last signal is the most underrated one. She remembers things, small things. Things you mentioned once and then forgot you even said. You tell her offhand in a conversation that you hate a specific kind of movie. 3 weeks later, she says, "I didn't suggest that one because I knew you wouldn't like it." She filed that away. She was listening at a level that goes beyond basic attention. People don't retain that kind of detail about someone they're indifferent toward. Memory is interest. When she references something you told her weeks ago or asks a follow-up question to something you mentioned in passing, she's telling you something. Pay attention to what she remembers because that's exactly what she's been thinking about since you said it.